Hello, so let's get started with our attributes and talk about our first attribute, levels of measurement. So this is really a basic class about variables and different types of variables. Variables, as we know, they're questions measured in different ways, and these are the levels of measurement of these variables, right? There are 4 levels of measurement: ratio, interval, ordinal, nominal, okay? And I'm going to put them on a table here just so we can understand. We're going to dive directly into actual real-life examples of these. So a good example of a nominal variable is, what's your favorite color, right? So the question, the variable, what's your favorite color? To which the answers could be yellow, red, orange, or blue, right? As you know, every time we have a data, like a digital data set, we're usually attaching a number to each of the categories that we can choose in our answer. So let's say you're talking about color yellow. We're going to choose number 9. Why? Any specific reason? No, that could have been 7, could have been 14, 44 billion. It doesn't matter. As long as each category is attached to a number. Do those numbers mean anything? No, they don't, right? So this is the thing that a nominal variable has, that all variables has, which is that each value has a number, okay? That's what makes it a nominal variable, okay? As opposed to like an open-ended question like, what did you like about the moon? And then people just type it in. If people were typing it in, then it's kind of impossible to have each like value attached to a specific number, because it's very difficult that people will have the exact same answer, you know, about what their opinion of the moon is. So, okay, this is nominal. Next thing is ordinal. So for ordinal here, we have the example level of education. Level of education, we have, you know, what's your level of education? What's your highest achieved level of education? To which you can answer high school, bachelor's, master's, PhD, like in this particular situation. Well, we're attaching each of those values to a number, right? So we're doing that, but we're also dealing with values that are rankable, right? So 1, 3, 7, 9, right? PhD is higher than master's, 9 is higher than 7, master's higher than bachelor's, and so on, right? Moving on to this new level, interval. Interval, we can ask, hey, what's your level of extroversion? Or you could use a statement which is like, I am an extroverted person. How much do you agree with that statement? And then people can react from 1 to 7, 1 meaning strongly disagree, 7 meaning strongly agree, and you have all the possible numbers in between, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, in this case, this is an interval variable because each value has a number, great. The values are rankable, right? So 7 is greater than 6, greater than 5, and so on. But we also have the third thing that makes interval variables interval, which is the distance between each of the values is the same, right? The distance between 1 and 2 is the same as the distance between 2 and 3, 3 and 4, 4 and 5, 5, 6, and 7. So, like, these are the distances. It might sound a little counterintuitive because you're saying, hey, but like these are opinions, like strongly agree, strongly disagree, I agree, I disagree. Well, the point is there's extensive evidence that this is actually roughly equal distance, because we found that these results tend to be normally distributed. We can talk about that more. You can just text me if you have questions about that. Finally, we have ratio. Ratio is this level of measurement in which you have a meaningful 0. So let's talk about this. So if I ask you, how many chairs do you have at home? Let's say you could have a couple of answers to that question of how many chairs you have at home. You could have 0 chairs, 1 chair, 2 chairs, 3, 4, 5, whatever. In this case, it's ratio because each value has a number. The values are rankable. The distance is the same. But also here, we have this extra thing that the 0 means nothing. What do I mean by that? When you have 0 chairs, that means the absence of chairs, right? As opposed to when we were dealing with an extroversion before. In extroversion, first of all, you can't even really have an extroversion of 0 because here the number goes only from 1 to 7. But, and the reason for that is that an extroversion of 0 wouldn't mean anything, right? Because it's not like you suddenly like not extroverted at all, right? Even if you're the most introverted person in the world, you're still somewhat extroverted. It's like there's no full absence of extroversion. That's impossible. So as opposed to chairs, you could have 0 chairs at home, for example. So that's the example, okay? Cool. So these are the 4 variables. The top 2 are continuous. So we group them with this name continuous because they're very numerical. The bottom ones ordinal, nominal, we call them categorical because we're dealing with categories and they're a little bit more limited in what we can do with them, as you would be able to tell. Okay, and the way I wanted to think about these is, iPhones, like every year there's a new iPhone, and the new iPhone has all the functions from the previous iPhones and new ones, right? So higher levels of iPhones do more things in the same way that higher levels of measurement do more things, right? So ratio does everything that interval, ordinal, nominal does, as you can see here, okay? And ratio, therefore, can pass as interval, ordinal, or nominal. Like, it's reverse compatible in that sense. That's why we talk about this being a hierarchy, right? Because ratio can do anything that interval can do. Interval can do anything that ordinal or nominal can do, but not the other way around, right? So nominal can't really do what ordinal or interval or ratio is. So the reason why we're learning these levels of measurement, especially about this hierarchy, is that we're going to use levels of measurement as one of the factors to decide which tests we're going to be using. Sometimes, for example, let's say you have a test that can only take interval variables. Does that mean that you have to only use interval variables? No, you could input a ratio variable in an interval minimum level type of test. That's all I'm trying to say. It's reverse compatible, right? So yeah, if you have a test that can only take nominal, it means you can input ordinal, you can input interval, you can input ratio.